The Paley Center for Media celebrates the very best of the media industry. We offer the public the opportunity to meet the cast, the directors, the producers, the creative teams behind the hottest new hits, and the classic programs we all remember. The Paley Center has always been a place where people come together to think, to laugh, and to watch and experience great media content with friends and fellow fans.
First of all, I'm just overwhelmed.
It's a dynamic time in the world of entertainment, and it's a really exciting time to be a member of the Paley Center community.
I am very, very excited to help reunite the cast of Lost tonight. In the past, I have been very lucky to be an audience member at PaleyFest, as well as a panelist and a moderator, and I know what you guys want. You want to talk about the show. You want some Lost info. You want me to go to you guys for questions, and I'm going to do it. So please, without any further ado, welcome the cast of Lost. First up, he played Walt Lloyd, Malcolm David Kelly. Walt, the original Walt. Here we go, Desmond Henry Ian Cusack. Shannon Rutherford, played by Maggie Grace. Boone Carlisle, Mr. Ian Somerhalder. Son, Yoonjun Kim. Give it up for Hurley, Jorge Garcia. You know him as Sawyer. Please welcome Josh Holloway. Executive producer Carlton Cuse. Executive producer Damon Lindelof. Sadly, due to their shooting schedules, a few people are missing tonight. Daniel Day Kim and Nestor Carbonell could not make it. Sadly, I know. And also Vincent the dog. He just got a part in Air Bud 4, so could not make it here tonight. But let's begin this thing. Welcome. Here we go. All right. 10 years since the pilot. This show was giant in every single way.
You okay, buddy?
There's a lot of levels to this place.
There.
Oh, wow. It's big.
I actually think what we should do, the most annoying thing is everyone taking pictures the whole time. Let's make a great pose for you right now, like some shit has gone down. Something, like I'll be yelling, we'll all make a great pose. Everyone get your pictures on this.
Okay.
So everyone make a pose like something has happened.
The plane's going down right now.
Oh, we're all wired.
Still? Great, we got it.
That was too long.
No picture will be better than that.
What was that shuffle thing?
No one fell on their face with being wired either, which was really a feat.
Hashtag that lost fight, PaleyFest. Okay, so
Oh my God.
the show was huge, a giant show, and when you were shooting the pilot, I know you probably were like, this is cool, this is crazy, airliners, Hawaii, but when did it sink in, especially to the cast? When did you guys realize, like, oh, I'm on, like, this juggernaut of a show?
Well, I'll tell you the premiere, because it was a two-part premiere, and I remember Damon and everyone saying, let's be cautiously optimistic. The first time it airs, yes, there was a lot of people, but let's wait till the next one.
Next episode.
And then we knew.
People just, now you guys were in Hawaii, right? So did you get people coming up to you? Did you know in Hawaii, or were you a little bit more isolated out there?
That's when I knew.
Oh, really?
Because I'm not very aware of myself normally, unfortunately.
Shocking.
I'd come from the gym. I was a little sweaty and, gross.
Knows his audience.
So I went to Daiei. Remember, it's like the Ralphs of California.
Yeah.
Went to Daiei.
They had really good prices on wine.
And this is when I knew that I had to watch out, because a couple of girls went up and like, that's him, and they went, ooh. Ooh. I was like, ooh? It's time to be aware. I had to be aware from then on. That's what it reminded me.
Now, Malcolm, how old were you when you shot the pilot?
When I shot the pilot, I was probably about 14.
He was a fetus.
Young, very young.
You're 14 years old. This is like the dream come true pilot. Like, this is the action packed. You get to be doing all this cool stuff. What was it like through your eyes as like a kid?
I mean, it was great working with all these great people. Moved to Hawaii. I mean, come on now, we're shooting a TV show.
Wait, where'd this
there.
voice come from, Malcolm?
It dropped a little bit.
Last time I saw him, he goes, hey, Ian, how you doing? Like, whoa.
I was glad to be a part of it, man.
How'd they treat you as a kid? Because, I mean, obviously, they can go off and party. They can do whatever they want. But you have to probably go to school all the time. What was it like?
Yeah, I was having my own fun.
Yeah?
I was doing my own thing, but we had good times on the set.
You were a part of the whole thing.
I think I was there, though, some of the times. We had some good
We sent you
parties.
home by at least 2 a.m.
La, 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 la.
Yeah, his trailer had the PS.
Good times, bro. Good times.
His trailer had PS2, that's right.
Yeah,
He
his
was
trailer and all the
rocking
video games.
Let's believe it, yeah.
All right, so this is obviously the show's over. The statute of limitations is gone. So I'm going to ask you guys this question. You can answer with total impunity. What did you steal from the set when you left? What memento do you have in your house that can be only attributed to loss? Did you steal anything? Did you take anything?
Well, as there are executives from ABC here this evening,
They don't care.
yeah,
Don't worry about them.
I would say like maybe the cover of the hatch fell off a truck.
Wow.
I was like, oh, no, this fell off a truck. And so
Yeah, can't
I
find
took
it.
and made it a new coffee table.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, this package just arrived and it was like the countdown clock from the hatch. It just showed up in my house.
So
Just
weird.
like oh, FedEx, I open it up. It's like the countdown clock.
Bizarre.
So weird. This is really bizarre.
Strange.
Hey,
about you,
Damon,
Josh?
Damon,
I
thanks for
kept my own
giving me
boots.
that trebuchet thing that tried to open the hatch.
Trebuchet?
Yeah, it fits perfectly in the living room.
Good pronunciation.
Wait, you said, Josh, you said
I kept my boots.
You kept your boots.
Because I had them 12 years before the show started. I figured that they owed me my own boots.
Wait, so in a
I
big
kept-
budget ABC show, they made you bring your own boots?
I know. Hello. Let's talk about that. No, we won't.
You should get paid a wardrobe extra or
Fantastic.
something.
I think you do.
Something. Yeah.
$16 a day.
Jorge, what,
Over
did you
6
take
years?
anything?
Well, maybe Hurley's 2 paintings from the Mental Institution, or something like very similar to them hangs in my
Yunjin?
I was left with a couple things. Couple dresses here and there.
Oh, nice.
Especially from flashback or flash forward, because
Okay.
I was
I've
done
got
with
some
the
of those
island
too.
clothing.
What else?
What did I take? I took my dignity.
Great memories, man.
A lot of amazing memories.
Yeah, great memories.
Maggie?
I think there's an outfit that looks like maybe someone was on their way to like a prom, if it was like a tennis-themed prom. That may have found its way. I wear it all the time.
It's a very popular outfit. Ian?
I stole a couple of blue shirts. I did. Guilty. I took it.
That blue
And then Roland Sanchez, the costume guy, found out about it, and he kept phoning me and said, "Bring them back, bring them back." And I.
You brought them back? You were honest and you brought them back?
No, I gave one away.
All right.
Somebody, I auctioned it. So.
Malcolm, did you steal
Just
anything?
great memories, man. Great memories.
You stole them great memories.
Great memories, yeah.
You were on that boat. You could have taken anything. Come on. Now, I know the show must have been amazingly fun to shoot, and the people of Hawaii were fantastic to you. But this show, you were out in the sun, you were in the rain, you were out and about a lot. Was there ever a day where you were like, oh God, I wish I worked in a cubicle? Like, were you ever like up to your neck in mud or muck where you just like, this is the worst lost day? Like, I mean, not just because you had to be physically exerting yourself.
No.
Never.
No.
I don't think that ever happened.
Never.
That would be crazy.
No joke. The harsher the elements, really, in fact, the more fun it became.
Really?
To me, anyway. I loved the fact when the mudslides would start and the little waterfalls everywhere, and everyone would just cram under one little tent, and we'd all have little conversations, and we were all like this. And it was just a break in the day. We're having like this moment in the midst of nature.
The jungle.
I loved that, and it happened often.
And I do have to say, you know, from a writing perspective, and we do need to acknowledge Jack Bender, who directed this episode, and the finale behind it. You know, never once did we write, there's rain, and Jack and Kate and Sawyer are running up the hill, or never ever did Hawaii say, and Gene Higgins, our amazing producer, figured out, you know, we write this raft launch. Carlton says, you know, maybe we should just build a raft and do that.
Right.
You know? Where I think production is always kind of trying to find clever ways around something to do something in vis effects or whatever. Most of the time on Lost, what you see is what you get. If it's raining, it's because there's huge rain towers and these guys are getting soaked and they're
we
freezing.
sailed that raft halfway to Kauai.
That raft.
They left us out there that day. And they had like a helicopter shot, and we're like, I don't see a copter, do you? Nope, I don't see it. They just have us out here, bro.
Keep
that going this way, you know.
You guys got so bored that I was the only one left on the beach, and you like all worked together, and you're like, hey Maggie, hey! And then like I look over, and there's all the guys lined up, and they all mooned me at once.
Yes, we did.
Like, really pale
Fantastic.
backside, and then
Pale?
Malcolm.
What?
We had tan lines. We had tan lines together.
No, that
raft was
scene.
so amazing that it actually, we engineered it a few.
worked.
The first time in a test, it sank, and then we're like, okay, we can get this thing to work. And then the second time, Jack Bender calls up and said, we had another problem with the raft. And I'm like, oh no, did it sink again? And he said, no, it's too fast. The camera boat can't keep up with it.
That's right. That's right.
And then on that day that we shot that scene where everybody says goodbye and it sails off, I just remember Bender saying, all right, let's see if this works. You know, we've got these guys on there.
And the
show could have ended really prematurely.
And Vincent, the dog, improvised. The dog just swam out and then it swam back. It was.
I heard he was always doing that dog. Yeah, really.
He always went off script. She.
Yeah, it was a she. It was a she.
Sorry.
And then she got a DUI.
Now, last time we talked about the show, you guys were primarily in Los Angeles. I mean, you weren't oftentimes in Hawaii, right? So you trusted Jack a lot to kind of get your vision out there. And what was that like, that process of
you know, obviously you've written it, you have the characters in your head, you've seen the performances, and then seeing it come back to you. Like, was that an interesting?
You know, when you normally make television, I think there's always kind of a disappointment because you imagine something in your head and it doesn't come out as good as you expect. And the thing that was really amazing about Lost in the moment when I think I really realized that the show was going to be special was stuff would come back better. I mean, it would literally, the execution was so great. I mean, what Jack was doing in Hawaii and the other directors was so good. It was actually even better than what we'd imagined on the page in many cases.
The show was very challenging to write, and over the course of the first 3 years, the first year we wrote 25 hours of the show, the second year 24, the third year 23, and that was really the hardest part of it, was just being in the writer's room, generating the scripts. So we were able to go to Hawaii less and less. But again, as Carlton says, I think that the idea that, you know, we sent these blueprints over to Hawaii, and then these guys fully realized them. I think the show probably would have been worse if we had gone down to Hawaii and tried to micromanage it. It was really able to be organic, and I think one of the really exciting things about the show is that it started to become this bigger thing than just what we were putting on the page. You know, Hawaii was doing something, and then the fans were doing something else, and then that was all filtering back to us. And so this idea of kind of, because when we would go down there, we would see what it took to produce the show.
Well, I mean, actually before that, okay, so we went down, I think the first trip that we took together, we get down there and it was like September of '04 and we were driving around in the car. It was a torrential rainstorm. The Red Sox were playing the Yankees and we were screaming at each other about the baseball game, and then we got lost horribly. We completely had no idea where we were and we couldn't find the set. So
and they did fine without us. Yeah.
So we thought maybe we should just spend more time in LA.
And then we got to the set and I think Naveen was hanging upside down. You're like, all right, our work here is done.
Now, obviously talked about the fans taking apart ownership of the show, and we talked about that before the episode. To you guys, that must be a lot of weight on you, because not only are you a character that people see and identify with on television and they want to connect with you, but they imagine that you have answers. And I imagine that at certain points you guys don't have those answers, but they're not buying it. Did you ever have an experience where a fan came up to you, and look, we love fans, they're the best, they're nice, but where it got a little bit maybe like, this is weird. I need to get any fans kind of corner you, especially as it got towards the end?
I had one fan I saw a few too many times.
Really? Popped out when they were in Hawaii.
The last time, yeah, in Hawaii, that offered me a chicken dinner. Later, that got weird.
That's code, Josh.
Yeah,
it was code, wasn't it?
Yeah, it is. Code for sex.
Well,
it was. It was. But she was a lovely 68-year-old woman.
68, wait, she's a 68-year-old woman who wants
and so I was like,
how big was the chicken dinner? 16 piece?
Well, that's what I asked her. I was like, is it a 4-piece or 6? No.
Well, there was.
We got biscuits, gravy.
Very famously, Terry O'Quinn was. He lived on the North Shore, very close to Police Beach, where we shot the show, and he would walk down to the set. And one day he was.
Which, by the way, is like 12 miles.
Like, yeah, he would walk barefoot.
Yeah, literally.
And he'd walk barefoot, but then like one day I guess he didn't really want to go back, so he hitched a ride, and this woman picked him up in a pickup truck, and she said, you know, can you sit in the back, because I think she had her kids or stuff, and he said, you know, I live up above the food land here, and then they drove up and they drove past Terry's street, and he got a little nervous, and they went one block further, they went to her house, and he goes, what are we doing? He says, oh, I have to show you to my husband. Oh my God.
Look, I've got groceries.
That's pretty awesome. It's like
put these handcuffs
Honey,
on.
look what I
Like
got.
Silence of the Lambs. It puts the lotion on.
Exactly.
I have a hatch for you in my basement. So thinking about like the show and around the finale, I know that as a fan of the show,
I've got to go pee.
But it must have just gotten so intense when you were done shooting. You're probably back in the States, and are people coming up to you? Like, what was maybe even one of your favorite theories that just did not? Do you ever remember like a dumb theory that someone came up to you? It's like, I know what it is. And do you ever remember any of those?
I had a guy once say that when the plane was in the air, we were all cloned. And the story of Lost was really the story of our clones.
I like that.
I like
Guys,
that.
is that true? Is that true?
Could be. Could be.
And Jorge was like, JJ? No. No. It's a true story.
I remember once, because I never really would theorize about or watch it. No, I never really looked ahead that much of anything, but I remember once I looked at you second season and I said, the island's like the Death Star, it moves. And you got weird with me.
That wasn't
And I
anything to do with
said,
the question.
yeah, but I said, I did not say that, and I am shutting up, and I'll never talk about the show again. I left.
I was just so
like,
excited
who have
that
you been
said
talking
Death
to?
Star.
Who have you been talking to? And I was
Look at
it. And I skedaddled. That was my only theory of the show, but
So now,
I was afraid of dying. Damon seems nice. Yeah, he is.
I love hearing this. I'm so used to hearing the word Damon all day, every day of my life. And to be sick, because my character's name on the show, not that you know that, Josh. But to hear this man's name, it's like, it's a beautiful thing, man. I'm really glad to be here with you. And
I just want to be you. I really do.
Damon, you are.
I want to be an ageless vampire that
We're
looks
together.
like Ian Summerall.
We're together. You gave me life, buddy. You gave me death, but you also gave me life.
Actually, wow.
That's
Speaking of that, so Ian, you were the first main cast member to die, right?
First one cast, and first one.
That's true.
How much did you know before it happened that it was gonna happen?
They told me the day of.
Really?
No, I'm joking.
I told you the night before.
It was the night before. No, I'm joking. It was a good while. I think it was about 3 weeks to a month or something.
It's enough
to cushion the blow.
Yeah. Now, also, but now I imagine, like, when you leave, was there any sort of ritual that you guys would do for fallen cast members? Was there a special?
We didn't have like a luau, man. Like,
I
believe it involved like at least 12 Mai Tais and.
The only thing we would do.
I don't remember anything ever.
Yeah, is just have some Mai Tais and go skinny dipping.
I remember when these two boys, Naveen and you, they showed up at my door with a bottle of really nice wine, and I was like, thanks, guys, come in. And they're just like, don't talk, just pour.
But the good thing about this show is, even though you might die, you might come back in a flashback, you might come back, there was a chance for you to live again. And I know that, like, everyone wanted, Malcolm, they wanted you back at all times. When the finale was happening,
Yeah.
if only you had Benjamin Button's disease, you could have existed on this show for quite some time. But when you were on the show, like in the finale, I remember there was a picture that leaked online. Everyone was like, Walt is back for the finale. Walt is back. Everyone was so excited, but it was actually for the episode after the episode. Right. And so what was it like coming back at that point? I mean, obviously we were back in the second season.
Was that the point when I was dripping in the water?
That was the second season, but this is when you're in the mental institution.
Okay, right. Man, it was just great to come back, man. I was glad to be back, and the show was great, man. So I was just glad to be a part of it, man.
Did you ever feel a pressure to because I imagine you're watching all your friends and you're like, I want to go back there. I want to be back on this island.
Yeah, bro, I wanted to get back there. I remember we sit together every week and watch some of the shows, as a big family. So it was pretty cool, man. I enjoyed that.
You watched the shows after they killed you?
What? I was working, but I was trying to get back to it. I had to stay consistent. Yeah.
So, Ian, you played a very crucial role in the show. Desmond.
Debatable, but I'm here. I'm listening.
So Desmond played a very crucial role and really tied together in many ways that last season. Awakening the characters and kind of bringing them together. How much did you know about where you were going, and how much did you have to kind of improvise and trust your own gut?
I knew nothing. And I remember speaking to Damon and Carlton and asking, and they're being very reluctant about telling me. They didn't want to tell me the ending. And I said, well, I need to know some stuff to be able to do my job. And But I don't remember them actually telling me anything.
Yeah, they did.
So I imagine you had to make big, bold decisions.
That's the way the show always was for me. It was always trying to figure out what was between the lines and just making a choice and just hoping that you weren't too far off. And I think if you went too far off, maybe they would rein you in. But there was never any. I mean, you did the scene, you played the line, you played what you thought was right, and that's why I think I was cast. So.
Do you ever feel, and I know this is probably a tough question to ask, but did you ever make a decision, this can open this to everybody, like where you were like, oh, my character was definitely this, and then like 9 episodes later, like, oh, I was way wrong. Did you ever play anything to a direction where you felt like you knew a little bit more?
Well, there was a period of time when the show started that all the writers got together and they created origin stories for people. And Javier Grillo-Marxuach had told me a basic outline that Hurley was this like repo man who just came back from getting a boat, and he's just so charming. People just give him the stuff back, and then numbers showed up, and then closer to the numbers episode, they're like, oh, Hurley wins the lottery. That's blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, but what's the Twilight Zone part of my story? And I didn't get that till I got the script.
Yeah. Now, Sunjin, your character also had a very interesting backstory that kind of revealed stuff. How much did you know going on? Was it the same idea? Like,
I mean, I knew nothing. Like these guys, as soon as the script came out, that's why we dropped everything and kind of read through the pages because we couldn't find out, until we read the script. So all I remember is, I remember that I was in a very good place when Sun got pregnant. And I knew for a fact that they would kill me off the show. How can you kill off a pregnant woman?
You can't kill a pregnant girl.
So,
isn't that illegal in America?
yes, and so that's
we
when
will steal
I
your
bought
baby,
the condo.
but we will not kill
Perfect. So I relaxed from then on. I kind of.
You can be honest though. I have a recollection on the pilot that we did tell you that you understood English.
Oh right,
You were
that
like,
I knew. That was sort of the only thing I knew about the character, though.
We're like, you understand English, but you're keeping it from your husband
because of the storyline.
Meanwhile, Yunjin came up to JJ and was like, Daniel doesn't actually, what he's speaking isn't actually Korean.
What a moment. You weren't supposed to repeat that.
It was country Korean. Being from
you got very good.
He got
very good.
He got very good.
We all speak Korean.
Did you come into the show knowing how to speak Korean fluently?
No, I learned it. No, just kidding. No, I was fluent. They actually.
She was like a huge celebrity in Korea.
Yeah, she can't walk down the street
together
in
the
Korea
first time,
without,
we're all doing
bodyguards.
press, they were doing all these things, and we're saying, hey, so tell me about you, and she was like, oh yeah, I just was doing the show in Korea where I had to raise a baby, and so then I'm going, are you a huge star in Korea and you're just hiding it from us?
No, I remember because Yunjin actually came in and she read for Kate.
Yeah.
Okay.
She read for Kate, for JJ and I, and there was no son in the lost script because there was no lost script. And
There's that.
look, guys, it's 3 years later. What the fuck? So we had to write sides for the characters first. Jorge read for Sawyer because Hurley didn't exist.
Yeah.
So Yunjin came in. She read for Kate. And we looked at her resume, and there were all these
Korean films.
movies in foreign tongue, and we were like, so you have a very extensive resume in Korea, and you very kind of demurely said, I was sort of in the Korean version of Titanic. It was like,
Which is great.
No, but it was, and it turned out, yes, that you were in the movie that was the #1 box office champion in the history of Korea, and so we were like, well, we've got to create a character for this actor. So we wrote Sun based on your audition, and then we were like, she should be married, and then Jin came out of that. So again, it was a very organic process where in Jorge's case, we had seen an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm where Jorge was trying to sell pot to Larry David, and
Well, Larry was trying to buy pot from me, really, but
buy. I'm sorry, yeah.
Do you sell?
And
For Ian.
no. And JJ was like, "Did you see Curb Your Enthusiasm last night?" And I was like, "Yeah, it was good." And he was like, "We got to put that guy in Lost." He's like, "Awesome. There's no character in the script." He's like, "But there's no script."
Which actually that leads me to my next question. So you were really tailoring the characters to the personalities of the people that you liked in the auditions then.
And this, you know, and fundamentally, Ian is telling the absolute truth, which is, we really felt at a certain point that that withholding what our plans for the actors was in the best interest of the show, because the actors had such confidence in the characters that they were playing that started informing the writers' room. So instead of this idea of saying, like, we're going to try to fit you in this box, we're going to just put in front of you what this episode is. And what's really crazy about it is, it's one thing for an actor to say, I want to know what's going to happen to me, because none of us know what's going to happen to us next. But our show was so based on these flashbacks, that'd be pretty useful information to know you were in a fucking wheelchair.
Yeah.
You know, like
That's a big one. That's a big thing.
I mean, but while we were shooting the pilot, you know, Terry we would be shooting, and I remember we had the wreckage of the plane brought to the beach, and we were doing all that insanity of, you know, people running around and getting sucked into engines and things flying. And between takes, Terry O'Quinn would go half a mile down the beach, and he would just sit and he'd put his earbuds in and listen to his iPod. And JJ just hit me and was like,
iPod that you bought him.
"What's that?"
You guys bought us our first iPod.
yeah, they were all presents.
I loved it.
And he was just like,
Nice.
and he was
They're
like,
amazing at the
JJ just goes, "That guy's got a secret." And I was like,
What was the secret? What's the secret?
what is it?
Wow.
What is it? And he's like, "You figure it out."
Oh my God.
And I think there's always this idea, you know, there's always like this thing from the fans too, like, well, how much did you know and when did you know it and what? But I think that to make television, to make the hours of television that you did make, you have to find things. You have to like stumble into certain things.
You know, absolutely. I mean, creativity does not deliver itself up all at once, you know, and I think that this idea of the actors just being present in the script that they were doing was a matter of necessity because, you know, in the first 3 years, as Damon said, we were writing like 23, 4, 5 hours of the show, and so we didn't have a ton of scripts to give them, but it actually made the show more intense because they were living the moments with the characters I mean, they were right there. They only knew what the characters knew.
And you were always on the precipice of death.
I mean,
I imagine that once you died, everyone would be like, oh shit.
Well, no,
like,
that was,
Watch out. Well, well, it was like a big publicity thing. It's like, one of them is going to die.
That's what I was saying, I said I was only late twice.
No, but I mean, with Boone, the idea with Boone was basically we wanted to defy this television convention. You know, if you watch an episode of CSI and somebody puts a gun to David Caruso's head, you pretty much know they're not going to pull the trigger.
Yeah, the Herald deflector.
And but you know, the idea that we could kill a character who was beloved was something that we really felt would give the show an incredible energy because then no one was safe.
And that was the idea behind the pilot, right? Like I think I've read this, so tell me if I'm wrong, but like you wanted someone like a Michael Keaton to play the Jack part, and then at the end of the pilot,
wasn't Jack supposed to die?
Yeah, like he would be killed.
Yes. And the idea was cast an actor, have them on all the billboards, and then and this was, I mean, it's hard. You could never pull that off now because it's 2014. But in 2004, obviously there was an internet, but the spoiler culture was not what it is now, and we could actually sort of pull it off. And so the idea was to kind of pull a little bit of a psycho like Janet Leigh and say, you know, this guy is going to be the star of the show. He's going to be in all the marketing. He's going to do all the press for the show. And then we're going to kill him in the pilot. And
somebody was like, "Is that really smart?"
Yeah, it was that. It was actually it was Steve McPherson and Heather Caden who were executives at ABC, and executives very often get a reputation for giving dumb notes. This was a very excellent note, which was, and I remember the way.
Want to kill Matthew Fox?
Yeah, the way they articulated it was the audience's trust they're going to really start to care about this character. If you kill them in the pilot, they're never going to trust you again. They're also never going to form emotional bonds with other characters because you feel that
trust.
Or their own children.
Yeah, exactly. So it ended up being a great note, and I remember when we called Ian, because that was the first call that we had to make, and we can joke about it, but it's a very hard call, certainly for an actor to get. Damon and Carlton want to talk to you at 3 o'clock tomorrow.
Damon, Carlton,
don't worry.
and JJ. Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah, no big deal.
Not a big deal.
And you use the third person, so you're essentially like, so Ian, Boone.
So we've decided to kill Boone.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting there thinking, man, I'm really glad I just drank like a bottle of Pinot.
Wait, weren't you driving a convertible Porsche
I was
in
sitting
the
in
wine
the car, Josh.
country
I
at
wasn't
that
driving.
time? Okay, you were at least at a bar.
I was in the parking
Okay.
lot, and I was going to wait for a good while. And the sun was out. I was in wine country.
There was another driver.
But, and I'm not kidding, you were such a pro. You were like, I get it, I can play it, thank you for the opportunity, this is awesome. And when it ended, we were like, we gotta kill more of these guys.
Oh my God.
So nice.
The adding insult to injury of the killing the people off on Lost is that not only do you leave the show, but you have to leave your home. Like you were all living in Hawaii. Get out.
Yeah, you leave that family. It wasn't about necessarily just the show and the story, or even the island, because it's definitely not horrible living in Hawaii.
No, Daniel Day Kim, somewhere in the space of the second or third season, he was like, he called Carlton and I up and he goes, so I'm thinking of buying a house. Like, should I buy the house? I'm not asking you.
Yeah, more broad stroke
exactly.
question. Had to ask.
Yeah, exactly.
Not to be too specific. Smart man. But
now we're going to get to the audience in a second. I just want to ask one final question to the cast here. Like, obviously the show only had a short, I mean, it's over 6 seasons. There's only so much we could kind of find out about each character. Was there anything that you wish, now that the show's over, like, oh, I wish we would have explored that about my character? Something that you long to kind of see a little bit more clarity on?
Well, Hurley has a moment when he says, back at home, I was known as a bit of a warrior myself. And that's the last we heard of it.
wait, didn't he kick my ass and drag me back into the tent as I scrambled out? That was a bit warrior-esque.
Yeah.
But we want to see you in the UFC. Where you were. Anybody else? Anything else that you felt like, oh, I would love to have seen that one side of my character or anything like that? Or do you feel fulfilled?
I feel fulfilled.
Although I will say that the Miles and Sawyer as cops would have been fun to run.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Corrupt cops.
It's interesting though because, the character that we got the most questions about while the show was on and post the show is Walt. What was up with Walt? Is Walt coming back? What's going on with Walt? Why was Walt special?
Why does Walt have an Adam's apple now?
Yeah. Exactly. So Malcolm, while you're here, what was up with Walt?
What's up with those superpowers, man? I need those, man.
It's a spin-off show. You could be like solving crimes with like Mariska Hargitay. Now, I'm going to open up to the audience, but before we do, I'm going to ask the one question that annoys me the most. So just to get it officially answered by you guys. They were not dead the entire time, right? It is the dumbest theory, but it needs to be just definitively answered here so we don't get it.
No. But what it was exasperating.
No.
Carlton?
They were not dead the entire time.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of this, so Barry Johnson, who was this wonderful executive at ABC who we worked with, basically had Barry, who's a huge part of making the show, who's here tonight.
The man who said yes every time we wanted to do something crazy.
He actually, at the end of the finale, he said, I think it would be great if you had a buffer between when the show ends and when we go to our first commercial. You don't really just want to kind of slam from the end of the finale into like a Clorox ad, you know? So he said, do you have any footage that we could just sort of play kind of quietly? And, the thing is, you don't just go shoot random footage for the show. So we kind of looked through the archives. There wasn't really a lot of shots, but we had put the plane on the beach in the first year of the show, and then we had to take it off the beach because the tides on the North Shore in Hawaii changed dramatically, and the plane was in danger of getting washed away in the winter, so we had to take the plane off the beach. So before we did that, we took some shots of the plane wreckage, and so we thought, well, let's just put those at the end of the show, when the finale airs, and it'll be that kind of little buffer and lull before we go to commercial. And then when people saw the shots of the plane, and there were no people there, that I think exacerbated the problem.
So, one question down. Let's go to our audience here. Let's see who has a good question. Make it good because we're a live stream. We're out there. Oh, this guy with the baseball hat right here. All right, yeah, let's ask him. Now just stand up, say your name, and your question.
Hi, I'm Will. Huge fan of the show. My question is, if the show had premiered now, especially with your shows, Bates Motel and Leftovers coming with much shorter seasons, do you think that the show, because the last 3 seasons were much shorter than the first 3, do you think that would have changed the arc of the show, potentially?
I think he's kind of asking, just to kind of rephrase it, like, would you have preferred to do the show without doing 25, 24, 23 episodes in the first 3 seasons?
You probably would have had a couple more years left in your lives.
It's easy to say, yeah, it would have been great to do less episodes, but at the same time, having to do the show exactly the way that we did, you have to, when you travel back in time, apparently, you can create a paradox. And so the idea of doing it any differently than we did it would have resulted in a different show. And I think that the fact that we were on network television, the fact that the show had to be written to these very specific act outs. So, every commercial break there had to be sort of a, oh my God, I can't change the channel moment that is really organic to network television and really important. And sort of like, I don't say this lightly, but I think that the idea that we had to limit Sawyer to son of a bitch and he couldn't say, holy fuck, like, was probably...
There were many moments I needed a holy fuck.
By the way.
A lot of them were in parentheses.
The scripts had lots of F-bombs, but I think that I'm really grateful that the show was on network. I think it would have been a different show on cable and probably not as good.
I will also argue that a show like this has never really been done on network again. It's I feel like people have just take these bigger shows and go to cable. You guys did a very challenging thing. Yeah, motherfucker. That's very hard to pull off. And when you think about the show like that, 25, 24, 23 hours of telling the story, it's a lot of balls in the air because every episode, and as I was kind of researching it, like every episode, balls. A lot of hairy balls in the air. But as you're moving forward, you have to keep so many things going, and there's this, it's a very impressive feat, and I think that it's just good to know that. Let's have a question. Let's see. I see some people in Dharma outfits over here. How about over there? That guy, he's all the way on the side. I picked the worst person to get. But let's pass the mic down. Sir, don't start your question until you get the mic. Here we go. Your name.
Hi.
Who would you be if you were on the show Lost, in your question?
My question is about season 5, some time travel questions. The outrigger.
Who would you be on Lost? First.
God. Sorry?
Who would you be if you were on the show Lost?
Ben.
All right, great.
Did you say Ben?
Now you can all ask your question. Here we go.
If you answer correctly, you get a chicken dinner.
I like that.
When you wrote the outrigger scene where Sawyer flashes to the future and they shoot at people, and we never got to see what that was, what was your intent? Who did you think? Why did we perhaps not get to that scene? Damon, go.
Well,
go. if I am correct in understanding, you want to know who was on the outrigger, right? That's the question. Who was shooting?
Of course.
Yeah. So obviously this is a classic question.
And one more thing, Paul.
Yes.
If I answer correctly, I will have sex with you.
Yeah. It would be. Yes. It would be a long
chicken dinner.
He's got an accent.
Carlton, should I? No.
Yeah.
This is why we don't answer these questions.
Have sex with one of the audience members. Don't be so uptight. Jerry Bruckheimer does it all the time.
I have to give you some level of satisfaction without answering the question, which is the lost way. And I will say this is, we actually wrote that scene. It was going to be in the final season. It definitively answered who was on the outrigger in a perfect, very satisfactory way. And all the writers...
Which is not the lost way.
Yeah, which is not the lost way. And all the writers, and by the way, I do need to say this in front of all of you. Carlton and I are but representatives of the amazing writers' room. Incredible writers all the way through. Eddie Kitsis and Adam Horowitz on from season 1, Liz Sarnoff on from the beginning of season 2, Drew Goddard, Brian K. Vaughan, amongst many others. We all looked at it and said, this is a cool answer, but what's much cooler is to not answer this question. And we all looked at each other and said, I shit you not, years from now, someone is going to stand up at a panel. And I'm not joking.
And he's going to want to have sex with you.
Yeah. And ask us about the outrigger with an offer of sex. And we will have to say, no, sir.
Yes.
We decline. But that is the truth. It happened. The scene exists. It's actually on paper. And years from now, for some excellent charity, we will probably auction it off. But we do know the answer.
And sadly for you, you miss a night of pleasure. But I think one of the cool things about this show, and I don't know how you guys feel about the cast too, is like, it's not going the route of Star Wars and the Phantom Menace or the Matrix Reloaded or whatever that last one was, where you explain everything to, because even when you explain it, you're like, oh, eh. Like I think that like everything tied up with a bow is not always as satisfactory. I think, in my opinion, too.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of
life.
I mean, we kind of referred to it as sort of the Big Bang Theory in the writers' room, that every question sort of begets another question. So, if you say, how did the universe start? Somebody might say, well, with the Big Bang, but somebody would then ask, well, what was before that? And we just didn't feel like there was any way to answer kind of all the open questions at the end of the show without it feeling really didactic and boring. And what we really felt that what we wanted to do as storytellers was tell an emotional story that told us what happened to the characters, because that was really what concerned us. It was the characters' journeys, and we cared much more about what happened to them.
So, another question. We can go up there, right? Let's go up to the end of the aisle. The girl with the long hair at the very top. Yep, right there. You with the long hair going to another girl with the long hair. Yep, keep on going. There she is. She's standing up. This is perfect. It's going to be worth the wait. All right, ma'am, your name, the character that you would be on Lost, and your question. Go.
Okay, I'm Andy. I'd probably be Shannon. I don't know. Woo! So first of all, I just want to say I watch like a really lot of TV. Like all my friends make fun of me, but I know. Sorry.
What? There you go. I don't know.
It looks like
Okay.
Kid Rock may be behind you.
So I know you've all gotten a lot of shit about the finale, but I just want to say, in my opinion, it's the greatest episode of television ever created. And I literally have an outline of my argument for why they weren't all dead and why all my friends are wrong and blah, blah, blah. So there are some of us out there. But anyway, my question is, there were many, many Easter eggs on Lost, and I was wondering if any of them were your favorite or the ones you were most proud of?
are you proud of an Easter egg that you left in the show? That's the question that I can distill. So is there something in the show that you're like, I'm impressed with myself. I did it. I'm the best. You guys are the worst.
I'm the best.
I think that when we put the Dharma logo on the shark at the very beginning, and it was on like 3 frames.
I like that.
And people found it, and we were like, oh, this is cool.
But I remember distinctly a moment where someone sent a screen cap of the pilot, and it was Malcolm, standing in front of the fuselage, the wreckage, and there was a burn mark on the side of the fuselage that looked a lot like the Dharma signal, and we had not invented the Dharma Initiative logo yet. We had an idea that the hatch was basically created by this bunch of hippies, and they had an organization. I think like in the first season we were calling them Medusa Corps or something like that. It wasn't until the space between the first and second seasons that we're like, they're called the Dharma Initiative. We're gonna develop their logo, their jumpsuits, all that stuff. But there was this piece of photographic evidence of the Dharma logo there behind you, and I was like, whoa! Like we did not. This is an Easter egg that we did not hide. And I lost all faith in all religion, Paul. Just like
that is how it happens. This is a question from someone who is watching via the PaleyFest app. It's CSI 89 girl.
That sounds dirty.
89, way dirtier than 69. She asks, this is a question for the cast. What was the most memorable moment from the show that you can carry with you to this day?
Oh.
Answer that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, is there?
Maggie.
Yeah.
If my boots could talk, I'd burn them. I don't know. I can't answer that. Next.
Well, how about this? This is a good question that maybe we can get into. Like, what's one of your favorite scenes? We can maybe go down the line of just like a favorite scene that you were like, oh, I really like that scene. I like that moment. In the cast.
I made out with my sister once.
Yeah. You are from the South.
I'm from Louisiana.
It happened.
Tell them why it was memorable.
Keep it in the family. Oh, why it was memorable. Oh, you little. Actually, we had been doing this scene all day, and take after take after take of having to make out with this beautiful woman.
Life's hard.
And then
Torture.
The day was over, and it was time to go, and the scenes were really great, and it was a very heavy day for me, and it actually was. And then, so I'm leaving the set, and everyone says, whoa, 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 we have a hair on the gate, there's a flag on the plate, we have to do one more take. Come on, come on, come on. You're thinking, wow, man, I just want to go home. Got it, let's do this, let's do this.
Excuse me, I'm sitting right here. I'm right here.
No, the making out part was great. It was just that it was an intense day. So I said, all right, listen, let's make this take great. So I go to kiss this beautiful woman. Apparently the whole crew was in on it. She had a mouthful that had apparently been like marinating for about 5 minutes of minced garlic. Oh. She had a couple puffs of a cigar.
The whole crew, we had like a little station in the back to
She was wearing a large baseball cup, so when she grabbed me and pulled me in.
Forgot about that.
There was like this mass.
I had kind of a thing with that because then I had the frozen kielbasa for the love scene with the vein.
Wow.
I don't know, it was kind of a gender
And I thought, gotta get through it.
Strangely, you felt right at home. You didn't.
Hey-o. Nothing like a garlic-flavored sister. Gosh. But that was an amazing moment, and the entire crew laughing. I mean, like
that was a good blooper reel
things
moment.
coming out of their noses, laughing so hard.
That was one of the proudest moments of my career.
A tough moment to beat, but anything else that sticks out to any of you?
That's a huge question. I mean, every day presented one of those moments on a show like this, and in those elements, and with this material and this group. I mean, I can't even. When people ask me those questions, suddenly I feel like I've been run over by a truck. There's so many moments that come up that it's impossible to answer that.
How do you quantify which one is
Yeah,
more
because
special
it
than the
happened
other?
all the time. That was such an amazing, magical, creative experience from start to finish. And to be, that is something in this business. I mean, we're actors, we read a lot of material, we try to do our best with a lot of material, but when you are given such amazing material that these two geniuses created, it's undeniable. And as an artist, you suck it up. It's amazing. You hunger for it. And when you get that, and to be able to perform it, it was just amazing. And there were so many of those moments that you can't count them. So thank you both.
Thank you, guys. All right, let's go back to our live crowd. Let's have this person over here in the standing up. He's definitely making a show of himself. There he is. Pass that mic down. Okay, your name, your character.
Hi, I'm Jacoby. I'd totally be Charlie, because I love Charlie. Yeah. Hi, Lost Cast. That's a dream come true. Hi. So my question is, are there any mysteries that you guys introduced early on that you planned on paying off in a different way? Like, for example, I know in the pilot, Locke said to Walt, showed him the backgammon pieces, 2 sides, 1 light, 1 dark, and that kind of played in, of course, later on. Are there any examples like that you wanted to go a different route with, but then didn't?
Yeah, so was there ever a point in the show where you changed your mind, where you were originally thinking that you're going to go down one route? No. Change it. I'm sure you really want to share that.
Well, I mean, for instance, yes, there were certain things like Nikki and Paulo. We had a whole...
They were amazing at karaoke, by the way.
We had a very elaborate story worked out for them that would span 1 season, if not more, that we condensed and did in 1 single episode where we buried them alive.
This is an interesting question, because to you guys on the set, you're working with these 2 new actors. They're not bad people. They're nice people, I imagine, great at karaoke.
Yeah.
But the audience was like, no. Not on my watch. So how quickly do you register that complaint and then go, ugh, get him out of here?
We introduced them in the beginning of season 3, and essentially there was this ongoing conversation with the fans, and one of the questions that was percolating up was, what about all these other idiots who are just carrying shit around in the background? How come they're never going on any adventures? Who are they? You blew up Dr. Arts, but they've got it. They're people too.
Right.
And so we were like, it's time to give those people a voice. Nikki and Paolo will sort of be our Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. I've been told they were in Shakespeare or something. And they would comment on how they didn't get to go on any of the A-Team adventures. And so we started writing these characters. And as writers, as soon as we got into the editing room, we were like, uh-oh, this is not working. And so the reality is we start writing the show in June. The show will air in September. Season 3 was the last year that the show was airing, and we split that season, was airing in September. So Nikki and Powell were fairly prevalent in this period of episodes, 1 through, I think, 6, which aired September through the November sweep. And then we were off until January, and then we very quickly figured out a way. So from the audience's perspective, we heard the audience hating Nikki and Paolo, and we killed them off. But for us, episode 7 went into production the day after episode 6 wrapped. So we were already hating Nikki and Paolo ourselves. And we're trying to figure out a way, and we decided, we're like, should we just pretend that we never made this mistake? Or should we dedicate an entire episode to their death in acknowledgement of this horrible mistake? And thus was born Expose.
Amazing.
Which I know is divisive, but is one of my favorite episodes of the show. So,
I loved it. I love Expose. I just got distracted by a man in a Matthew Fox mask. That is amazing. Please get a shot of that. Stay there. Turn this way. Turn that way. The other way.
Turn the other way.
Go the other way.
The other way.
Other way. Way other.
Keep it going. Hey.
Good work.
Well, you know, I have a question. Give me a second. So, for you guys on set we'll get to you, Matthew Fox. But for you guys on set, did they ever get the vibe like, I mean, obviously fine actors and they did what they were supposed to do, but did they get the sense like, yeah, they don't like us? Like, I mean, yeah.
No, I don't think so at all, because they're lovely people and really talented actors.
Of course.
So we immediately, was the way of Lost. We invited them right into our family. We had a great time. We were hanging out, and we were just kind of waiting for
them to die,
to shine.
We tried to go skydiving with them.
Went skydiving with them?
Well, we thought it would be a beautiful irony that we got dropped from a plane and died, and then we would get dropped from a plane and survive.
Right.
Hey, by the way, we fell 30,000 feet from an Elton 11 and survived, and I fell like 30 feet from a Beechcraft and died. So,
from a tree. Yeah.
Let's not play reality police here. Okay?
Boone was very brittle.
Apparently.
Not you.
Boone. Got it. That's awesome.
Let's go to Matthew Fox. Matthew Fox, we know who you would play on the show. Here's your question.
I bought this Jack Workman outfit at the auction, and I understand it's the original.
Yeah.
And I'd like to know, is this Sawyer's blood hair?
Is it Sawyer's what hair?
Blood.
That's true, yes.
Quite possibly could be, because there were
Could you
many
please
days.
sign this blood for me?
Was it?
I kind of did. It's my DNA.
Yeah.
Now I'm a little worried about that guy up there too. Anyways, could you tell me who is the real alpha male of the entire Lost show? Is it Sawyer?
Malcolm.
Is it Jack? Is it somebody
Hurley,
else?
come on,
The
he's a
writers,
warrior.
please tell us who is the top dog?
It's either the dog or Malcolm, because you can't win a scene with kids or animals. They win every time. I don't know.
In terms of the set, I can't answer the question, but in terms of the characters, I think we can just say who ended up in charge of the island, and you know.
And there you go, baby. We are quickly running out of time, but I want to ask a couple questions here. What was that like, Jorge, to get that piece of information, that you would be the new island's protector?
Well, it's on the final DVD. You just see me reading it, and then all of a sudden, tears.
Aww.
It was touched. It was really nice. And then they showed up the set the day I had to shoot the transfer over. And it's like, this was, in a way, it's like the most emotionally, the hardest thing I've ever done. So I was like, and the bosses are here today? Yeah. So I hid behind a tree, just kind of sit there and work it up, I guess. But yeah, I was really honored when that showed up in the script.
It was really great. A great ending if you haven't seen it. Of course you have, though, because you're Lost fanatics. Now, here's my question. They told me, do not let a question go from, it can't be above the first level. But I'm saying, screw that. I want to go to those people up there in the crappiest seats. All I need from you is a loud voice. I will repeat it. So you, with your hands waving, what is your question, you cheap bastard up in the cheap seat?
They got to get food.
All right, everyone be really quiet. Here we go. Shh. Shh. No. Not you.
If I moved to Utah, maybe.
Here we go.
This question is for Damon and Carlton. You hear that?
Yeah, we got
I got it.
I love the ending.
I can't see him.
I can't hear you.
I got it. I am hearing.
I can hear you loud and clear.
When you decided to make it the afterlife, I was so happy. Whose idea was it to make it the afterlife? And what made you head in that direction?
Okay, so here's the question. He says, Damon and Carlton, this question's for you. I love the ending. He loved the idea that it was that they all met in the afterlife, and he wants to know, how did you come to that conclusion?
I think very early on we had decided that, Lost is a show about people that are on an island in the middle of nowhere, but really it's a show that metaphorically is about people who are lost in their lives, that are seeking redemption and are looking for kind of meaning and purpose in their lives. And so the more we started talking about the ending, the more clear it became to us that the ending had to be a spiritual one that really kind of talked about these characters' journey and destiny. And it was not a single conversation or a single idea. It was a series of long discussions, and Damon and I would have breakfast in my office every morning, and we would have long discourses about sort of the nature of the show, the characters, about spirituality, about what all of our journeys mean, how all of us are here to kind of lift each other up in our lives, and we wanted the show to sort of reflect our own personal beliefs and desires and hopes and dreams, really.
And I would just add to that yeah, thank you. For us, one of the, again, the ongoing conversation with the audience, there was a very early perception, even as soon as the pilot, that Lost was some sort of purgatory. And we were always out there saying, it's not purgatory. All of these things are actually happening. These people are on this island. They're going through this experience. This is real. We're not going to sixth sense you. But at the same time, the audience was perceiving that. And we felt it too, the idea that the show had to be meta in this way. And writers have a tendency to get very pretentious when we're amongst ourselves. And we started saying, well, obviously there's all these mysteries that are sort of surrounding the show. Wouldn't it be great if in the final episode of Lost, we could try to answer a mystery that the show had never asked? And let's just go for, I don't know, what's the meaning of life and what happens when you die? And that conversation started in the space between seasons 3 and seasons 4 as we were plotting out the end game, because we knew that season 4 was going to be flash forwards. Season 5, the island was going to be moving and sort of shifting around in time, was going to be a bit of a wild card season. But what were we going to do in season 6? We were out of flashbacks. We've run dry on flash forwards. We want to be living in relative present time. What should we do? And we had the idea to sort of Trojan horse a paradoxical time travel story based on the fact that Juliet hits this bomb and perhaps resets a world where Oceanic 815 never crashes. But in fact, it was going to be this afterlife parable. And we all got very, very excited about it and just engaged.
I love the ending. It's a beautiful ending, and it kind of brings together these characters in a really fantastic way. So we applaud you for an amazing 6 years. It is, before everyone comes rushing to say, and an amazing 6 years. You guys kept us entertained, and it's a testament to the show that this many years later, people are here to come and talk about the show. And I just want to say thank you to everyone here tonight. Thank you. Give them a hand.
Thank you.